You feel it. That quiet dissatisfaction, that knowing. You were not built for average. There is something inside you that refuses to settle. A voice that grows louder in silence, a pressure that does not disappear. You try to ignore it, you stay busy, you distract yourself, but it returns because it is real. Right now, you stand at a decision point, not next year, not someday, now. This moment is not random, it is not small, it is not ordinary. It is the dividing line between who you have been and who you are about to become. In 21 days, you can become unrecognizable, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You can rebuild the way you think. You can rewire the way you respond. You can rewire the way you respond. You can redefine the standard you live by. This is not about temporary motivation. This is about identity reconstruction. Imagine waking up with discipline as your default, focus as your instinct, confidence as your baseline, no hesitation, no internal debate, just clarity. The old version of you, gone, not erased with anger, replaced with intention. This is the moment everything changes for you, not because circumstances shift, but because you do. Stand up internally. Breathe. Feel the weight of this decision. Feel the power in it. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for validation. You are choosing growth. The next 21 days will demand effort. They will require honesty. They will stretch you beyond comfort. And that is exactly why they will transform you. This is your reset, your rise, your reconstruction. Say it quietly. I am ready. Chapter 1. The decision that divides your life. There comes a moment in every life when drifting is no longer acceptable. A quiet moment. A private reckoning. Nothing dramatic happens on the outside. The world continues moving. People continue talking. Responsibilities remain. Yet internally something shifts. You begin to see clearly. You begin to feel the weight of your untapped potential. You recognize the truth. You cannot stay the same. Transformation does not begin with a plan. It does not begin with resources. It does not begin with resources. It does not begin with perfect timing. It begins with a decision so firm that it divides your life into 2 chapters, before and after. Right now, you're standing at a doorway. Behind you stands your old self. Familiar, predictable, comfortable. This version of you has patterns, habits, excuses that sound reasonable. It knows how to survive. It knows how to blend in. It knows how to delay. Ahead of you stands another identity, stronger, sharper, focused. This version does not negotiate with weakness. It does not wait for approval. It does not shrink. The doorway is narrow. You cannot carry both versions through it. This is the conflict. You versus your old self. Not a battle of hatred. A battle of standards. Your old self whispers, you can start tomorrow. Your new self says, now. Your old self seeks comfort. Your new self seeks growth. Your old self protects routine. Your new self builds legacy. You feel the tension. It tightens in your chest. It challenges your certainty. It asks you whether you are serious this time, because you have decided before. You have promised before, but this time must be different. The difference is not intensity. It is irreversibility. Decide. Cut hesitation. Commit fully. Do not dip your foot into change. Step through the doorway. Close it behind you. Refuse to look back. Understand this clearly. Partial decisions create partial lives. When you leave space for retreat, retreat becomes easy. When you leave space for negotiation, weakness begins to bargain. You must choose once and refuse to renegotiate. There is wasted potential behind you. Hours lost to distraction, energy scattered across trivial things, goals postponed, standards lowered quietly over time. You feel that weight. It is not regret, it is awareness. Awareness is powerful. It shows you what happens when you delay your greatness. It reveals what average truly costs. It exposes the slow erosion of self-respect when promises are broken. You are not here to criticize yourself. You are here to elevate, But elevation demands truth. The truth is simple. You cannot become unrecognizable by remaining undecided. You cannot build a powerful identity on a weak commitment. So pause, feel the seriousness of this moment. This is not emotional excitement. This is structural change. This is where you define who leads your life from this point forward. Will it be habit or intention? Will it be comfort or courage? Will it be repetition of the past or construction of the future? Stand at the doorway. Look back one final time. Acknowledge the version of you that carried you this far. That version learned. That version endured. That version survived. But survival is no longer enough. Growth is required. Now look forward, see the stronger posture, the steady gaze, the calm confidence of someone who keeps their word, someone who does not need noise to feel important, someone who executes quietly. That is you, but only if you decide. Decide. Cut hesitation. Commit fully. When you decide at this level, something shifts internally. Energy reorganizes. Focus sharpens. Time becomes valuable. Distractions lose appeal because a true decision eliminates alternatives. You no longer ask whether you feel like working. You work. You no longer debate whether to wake early. You rise. You no longer question whether discipline matters. You embody it. This is not aggression. It is alignment. Alignment between who you say you want to be and what you actually do. Imagine 21 days from now. See yourself steady, focused, different, not loud, not dramatic, but composed. Imagine waking up without internal argument. Imagine moving through your day with clarity. Imagine completing tasks without emotional resistance. That version of you exists on the other side of this doorway, but you cannot drag uncertainty into the next chapter. A dividing decision creates momentum. When you stop negotiating, you start progressing. When you stop explaining, you start executing. When you stop postponing, you start transforming. Your old self will attempt one more whisper. It will suggest moderation. It will encourage comfort. It will promise that slow change is safer. But safety does not create greatness. Courage does. And courage begins with a single, irreversible commitment. You do not need to announce it. You do not need validation. You need clarity. Say it internally with authority. I am done negotiating with my potential. I choose growth. I choose discipline. I choose responsibility. This is the dividing line. From this point forward, your standards rise, your actions follow, your identity shifts. The doorway is closing. Step through. Feel the quiet intensity of someone who has made a final decision. No drama, no excuses, no retreat, just forward movement. The next 21 days will test this decision. They will ask whether it was emotional or structural. They will reveal whether you were serious or temporary. And you will answer through action, because when a decision is irreversible, behavior changes automatically. You become protective of your time. You become intentional with your energy. You become selective with your focus. You stop drifting. You start directing. This is how transformation begins. Not with perfection, with decision. Stand tall internally. Feel the weight and the power of your choice. There are two identities. Only one moves forward. Choose. Say it clearly. I decide who I become. Hold that sentence. Let it anchor you. This is the first step. The doorway is behind you now. Ahead lies discipline, clarity, and controlled growth. The war with your old self has begun. And this time you do not plan to lose. Chapter 2. Burn the comfortable version. Comfort 2 is quiet. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It simply wraps itself around your routines and tells you everything is fine. And for a while, it feels fine. You wake up, you move through familiar patterns, you respond the same way. You delay the same tasks. You promise small improvements while protecting the same habits. Comfort is not dramatic, it is subtle. It keeps you functioning just well enough to avoid urgency. But you did not step through that doorway to remain comfortable. You stepped through to transform. Transformation and comfort cannot live in the same room for long. One must leave. Right now you are holding the script of your current life in your hands. Look at it. The lines are predictable. The reactions are rehearsed. The excuses are polished. I work better under pressure. I will start when things settle. I just need a little more time. These lines feel familiar because you have spoken them before. They are part of the script, the comfortable script. And as long as you follow it, your life follows it too. The same results, the same limitations, the same ceilings. If you want to become unrecognizable, you cannot revise this script. You must burn it, not slowly, not gently, completely. Comfort is the enemy of transformation because it convinces you that growth can wait. It tells you there is no urgency. It whispers that discipline is extreme. It suggests that distraction is harmless, but distraction is expensive. Look at your habits honestly. The scrolling that stretches for minutes and becomes hours, the endless consumption of information without execution, the conversations that drain energy but feel familiar, the entertainment that numbs ambition. You confront them now, not with shame, with clarity. Every habit either strengthens you or weakens you. Every action either builds the new identity or feeds the old one. There is no neutral. Your comfortable version knows how to stay busy without progressing. It knows how to fill time without building momentum. It knows how to appear active without being intentional. But you are not here to appear. You are here to evolve. So the tension rises. You begin to see how comfort has protected you from discomfort and also from growth. It protected you from early mornings, from hard conversations, from focused work, from long stretches of silence. Comfort protected you from pressure, but pressure builds strength. Comfort protected you from failure, but failure builds resilience. Comfort protected you from judgment, but judgment builds confidence. When you stand firm, you feel the internal conflict again. Your old self says, ease into change. Your new self says, burn the bridge. Stop scrolling. Stop explaining. Stop waiting. These are not suggestions. They are commands. Stop scrolling. Protect your attention like it is your future, because it is. Stop explaining. You do not owe the world a detailed report of your growth. Your results will speak. Stop waiting. There will never be a perfect moment. There is only this moment. The escalation feels intense because comfort fights back. It reminds you of pleasure, of convenience, of familiarity. It asks, why make it harder? Because harder builds stronger. The emotional dip arrives here. You begin to feel the fear of change. What if discipline isolates you? What if you lose people? What if you fail publicly? What if the new standard exposes your weaknesses? This fear is natural. It means the script is catching fire. Burning the comfortable version feels like loss at first. You lose certain routines, you lose certain conversations, you lose the soft excuses that made delay acceptable. You may even feel alone in the process, but stay. Do not retreat into the old script. Watch it burn. As the comfortable version dissolves, something else emerges. Clarity. Without distraction, your mind sharpens. Without constant stimulation, your thoughts deepen. Without endless consumption, your actions increase. You begin to feel a strange relief. Discipline is not a prison. It is freedom. Freedom from internal chaos. Freedom from internal chaos. Freedom from guilt. Freedom from unfinished commitments. When you choose discipline, you remove the exhausting debate between what you should do and what you actually do. You simply act. There is peace in that. You wake up and execute. You focus and complete. You rest without regret. Comfort offered short-term pleasure. Discipline offers long-term power. The more you release distraction, the more you gain energy. The more you remove noise, the more you hear your own direction. This is not about extreme isolation, it is about intentional selection. Select what strengthens you. Release what weakens you. Look at your digital habits again. Do they educate or distract? Do they inspire execution or encourage comparison? Do they sharpen your thinking or scatter it? You do not need to eliminate the world. You need to eliminate waste. Stop scrolling. Stop explaining. Stop waiting. Repeat it until it becomes automatic. Every time you feel the urge to delay, remember the fire. You burned the old script. There is no going back to comfortable ignorance. You see too clearly now. Comfort once defined your rhythm. It told you when to rest, when to quit, when to postpone. Now you define the rhythm. You decide when to rest strategically. You decide when to push through resistance. You decide what deserves your time. This is leadership. Leadership begins with self-control. You cannot lead a vision while being controlled by impulses. You cannot build a legacy while feeding distraction. You cannot become unrecognizable while protecting the familiar. So feel the relief fully, the relief of structure, the relief of clarity, the relief of knowing that your days are aligned with your goals. You are not becoming rigid, you are becoming intentional. The comfortable version of you wanted approval. It wanted ease. It wanted reassurance that everything would work out without sustained effort. The evolving version wants strength. It wants discipline. It wants results that speak without explanation. You are not rejecting comfort forever. You are redefining it. Comfort is no longer mindless escape. Comfort becomes earned rest after focused execution. Comfort becomes the calm confidence of someone who knows they kept their word. That is different. That is powerful. Feel your identity shifting, less reactive, more deliberate, less distracted, more present, less comfortable, more capable. Say it slowly. I release what weakens me. Say it again with conviction. I release what weakens me. Not out of anger, out of growth. The fire has done its work. The old script is ash. Ahead lies structure, discipline, focus, but there is still one more layer to confront, because when comfort disappears, resistance grows louder. And in the next stage, you will face that resistance directly. Stay steady. The real test is coming. Chapter 3. Discipline before motivation. Motivation is a feeling. It rises, it fades. It depends on mood, environment, energy. Discipline is different. Discipline does not ask how you feel. It asks what must be done. If you are waiting to feel inspired before you act, you will always live in cycles. Strong one week, uncertain the next, focused for a moment, distracted the next. But when discipline leads, consistency follows, and consistency builds confidence. Not loud confidence, not borrowed confidence. Earned confidence. You begin with the morning, because the morning shapes the day. You do not reach for your phone first. You reach for intention. You wake up, not slowly drifting, not negotiating with the alarm. Wake up, stand up with purpose. Even if your body feels heavy, even if your mind searches for excuses, you move before the excuses grow strong. Move, you stretch, you breathe, you walk, you train, you activate your body so your mind follows. Movement is not only physical, it is psychological. When you move early, you signal to yourself that action comes before comfort. Then you execute. You review your priorities. You define the 1 or 2 outcomes that matter most. You remove clutter. You begin the work before distractions find you. This is not dramatic, it is deliberate. Wake up. Move, execute, repeat. The power of discipline lies in repetition. You lay bricks daily without applause. Imagine a builder constructing a structure alone. No crowd, no recognition, just steady hands placing one brick at a time. The wall rose slowly, day after day, brick by brick. Some days are easy, some days feel heavy, but the builder does not skip a brick because no one is watching. That is you. Each disciplined morning is a brick. Each completed task is a brick. Each resisted distraction is a brick. At first, the structure looks small. You may not notice dramatic change. You may question whether the effort is worth it. Keep laying bricks, because confidence is not built from affirmation alone. It is built from proof. Proof that you can trust yourself. Proof that when you say you will do something, you do it. Daily non-negotiables create that proof. Choose them carefully, not 20 habits, not overwhelming systems. Simple, clear, powerful. Wake at a defined time. Move your body. Complete your highest priority before midday. Protect focused work blocks. Reflect briefly at night. These become non-negotiable, not because you are rigid, because you are serious. Discipline before motivation means you act first and let emotion catch up. There will be mornings when you feel powerful. You will rise easily. Energy will be high. Focus will feel natural. There will also be mornings when you feel resistance. Heavy eyes, doubtful thoughts, slower steps. On those mornings, discipline matters most. Because every time you act without feeling motivated, you strengthen your authority over your impulses. You prove that you lead your body. You prove that you direct your mind. And with every proof, confidence grows. You stop wondering whether you are capable. You know you are capable because you have evidence. The evidence is in your routines. Your old self waited for the right mood. It waited for external pressure. It waited for urgency. Your evolving self creates urgency internally. Wake up, move, execute. Do not dramatize it, just do it. As the days pass, something subtle shifts. You begin to feel steadier, not because life becomes easier, but because your foundation becomes stronger. When unexpected challenges appear, you do not collapse, you adjust. When distractions attempt to pull you away, you return to structure. Structure is freedom. Without structure, time disappears, attention scatters, energy drains. With structure, time becomes purposeful, attention sharpens, energy focuses, physical resets matter. Your body influences your mind more than you realize. When you train, stretch, hydrate, and rest strategically, your thoughts clear. Your decisions improve, your resilience increases. Mental resets matter too. Brief silence, intentional breathing, reflection without distraction. You are not escaping the world, you are sharpening your internal environment. Discipline creates internal order. Internal order creates external impact. Picture yourself 21 days from now. You wake up without argument. You move automatically toward what matters. You complete difficult tasks before comfort tempts you. Your posture changes, not exaggerated, just steady. People begin to notice something different, not because you talk about your transformation, because your actions reflect it. You are respected because you respect your word. That is powerful. When you keep promises to yourself, your self-image strengthens. When you break promises to yourself, your self-image weakens. Discipline repairs self-trust. Each completed non-negotiable whispers internally, "I am reliable." And when you feel reliable, you act boldly. You speak clearly. You decide faster. You hesitate less. This is how discipline creates confidence, not through emotion, through repetition. There will be moments when boredom appears. Routine can feel repetitive. The excitement of change fades. The novelty disappears. Stay steady. Boredom is not a signal to quit. It is a signal that discipline is becoming normal. Normal is powerful. When high standards become normal, greatness becomes sustainable. Wake up, move, execute, brick by brick. Some days you will feel like accelerating. You may want to add more habits, more tasks, more intensity. Be careful. Growth is not built through chaos. It is built through controlled expansion. Protect your non-negotiables, master them, let them solidify your identity. You are not chasing perfection, you are building consistency. Your old self measured progress by feelings. Your new self measures progress by execution. Did you complete what you committed to? Did you protect your focus? Did you respect your structure? If the answer is yes, confidence increases. If the answer is no, adjust immediately. Do not criticize. Correction is discipline. You are becoming the person who wins. Not because you outperform everyone in a single burst, but because you outperform your old self daily. Winning begins internally. When you defeat hesitation in the morning, you win. When you choose focus over distraction, you win. When you finish what you start, you win. These small victories compound. After several days, you feel stronger. After 2 weeks, you feel sharper. After 3 weeks, you feel different. And the difference is not loud, it is stable. Your mornings no longer depend on mood. Your work no longer depends on urgency. Your discipline becomes identity. That is the shift. You no longer try to be disciplined. You are disciplined. The bricks have formed a wall. The wall has formed a structure. The structure holds your new life. Stand in it. Feel the stability. Wake up tomorrow and repeat, because repetition is power. Wake up, move, execute, say it internally. I am becoming the person who wins. Say it again. I am becoming the person who wins. Not by chance, by discipline. And as this discipline deepens, a new challenge approaches. Because once structure is built, focus must sharpen. The next level demands elimination. Stay ready. Chapter 4. Silence is your power. Not every move requires an announcement. Not every goal requires an audience. There is a strength that grows in silence, a sharpness that develops when you stop explaining your direction and start executing it. Silence is not weakness, it is control. Your old self loved recognition. It felt energized by attention. It wanted people to know what you were planning. It found comfort in talking about change rather than becoming it. Talking feels productive. Posting feels productive. Declaring intentions feels bold. But declaration without execution weakens resolve. When you announce every step, you release pressure. You satisfy the ego before the work is complete. You receive small doses of validation that make the brain believe progress has been made. But progress is built in action. The strongest structures are built underground. Before a tower rises into the sky, deep foundations are poured when no one sees them. Steel and concrete are placed beneath the surface, quiet, hidden, precise, no applause for foundations. Yet without them, the structure collapses. You are building your foundation now. Discipline, focus, control. These are not loud qualities. They do not demand attention. They demand consistency. Move in silence. Build in private. No announcements. No validation seeking. Let your actions grow heavier than your words. When you move silently, you conserve energy. You protect momentum. You eliminate outside noise that attempts to influence your path. People will not always understand your growth. Some will question it. Some will try to redirect it. Some will unintentionally project their own fears onto your decisions. Silence protects you from that. It keeps your vision clear. Your old self wants attention. It wants to feel seen. It wants reassurance that others approve of the direction. Your new self wants results. Results do not require applause. Results require repetition. There is power in knowing something that others do not. Power in waking up early without telling anyone. Power in training without posting it. Power in studying without announcing it. Stay quiet. Stay focused. Stay dangerous. Dangerous not in aggression. Dangerous in capability. When you stop explaining your moves, you become unpredictable. When you stop seeking validation, you become internally anchored. When you stop performing growth for others, you begin embodying it for yourself. Silence sharpens perception. You begin to observe more. You listen more carefully. You speak with intention instead of impulse. You choose words deliberately. Your energy becomes controlled. There is a calm intensity that develops when you no longer feel the need to prove yourself constantly. You know what you are building. That is enough. Imagine walking into a room where people talk loudly about plans, ambitions, future victories. You listen, you nod, you speak little. Inside, you are already executing. Weeks later, when results appear, there is no surprise for you. You are building underground. The world sees the surface. You know the foundation. Silence also strengthens discipline. When you do not announce your intentions, the only accountability left is internal. There is no social pressure to impress, no image to maintain, only your word to yourself. That is powerful training. You learn to execute because you said you would, not because someone is watching. Your confidence becomes independent of external feedback. Your focus becomes independent of praise. This is maturity. This is leadership. Stay quiet. Stay focused. Stay dangerous. The temptation to speak will return. The urge to share progress will rise. You will want recognition. You will want acknowledgement. Pause. Ask yourself, why? Are you sharing to inspire or to be validated? Be honest. Silence is not about isolation. It is about intention. When you do speak, speak with substance. When you do share, share results. Until then, build. The strongest roots grow in darkness. You are growing roots now. Every early morning, every focused hour, every resisted distraction, no applause, but strength is forming. There is something powerful about being underestimated. When people do not see your full capacity, you move freely. You experiment, you grow without pressure, you develop skills quietly. Underestimation becomes an advantage. Your old self feared being overlooked. It wanted recognition to feel significant. Your new self understands that significance is earned privately first. You do not need to be seen constantly to be powerful. You need to be disciplined. There will be moments when doubt appears. Silence can feel lonely at times. When you stop broadcasting your progress, fewer people comment. Fewer people react. The noise decreases. Let it. In the quiet, you hear your own thoughts more clearly. You refine your direction. You deepen your understanding of what truly matters. You are not withdrawing from the world. You are strengthening before re-entering it at a higher level. Transformation peak. Number 1 begins here. The tension builds. You feel the pressure to announce, to explain, to prove. Resist it. Stay quiet. Stay focused. Stay dangerous. Work harder. Train longer. Study deeper. Without telling anyone, let your actions multiply while your words decrease. The intensity rises because silence requires discipline. It requires confidence. It requires belief that results will speak when the time is right. Keep going. Don't stop. Build the foundation. Strengthen the core. Protect the vision. The peak reaches its height. You are executing daily without applause. You are rising without announcement. You are sharpening without noise. Now control it. Calm. Return to steady breath. Return to composed action. Silence is not emotional. It is strategic. You do not move secretly out of fear. You move silently out of focus. There is a difference. When the time comes to reveal progress, it will not be loud. It will be undeniable. Your posture will change, your presence will shift, your results will reflect discipline, and people will wonder when it happened. It happened underground. It happened in the early mornings. It happened in the quiet evenings. It happened in the hours no one saw. You did not need to announce it. You were building. Say it internally. I move with purpose. Say it again. I move with purpose. Say it again. I move with purpose. Purpose does not rush to be seen. Purpose executes with patience. Your old self chased attention. Your new self chases excellence. Attention fades. Excellence compounds. There is peace in this approach. You no longer feel pressure to update the world on your progress. You feel pressure only to maintain your standards. Standards become your compass. When standards rise, behavior aligns. When behavior aligns, identity solidifies. Silence supports identity shift. You are not performing transformation. You are living it. The more quietly you work, the more confident you become, because your confidence is rooted in proof, not praise. You wake up and execute. You complete tasks without announcing them. You train without documenting it. Your discipline becomes intimate, personal, unshakable. And as this silent strength grows, something else begins to sharpen. Your focus intensifies, because when noise decreases, clarity increases. Stay quiet, stay focused, stay dangerous. The next level will demand even deeper elimination, and you are ready for it. Chapter 5. Master your mind before the world. The world will test you, not once, not twice, but daily. Pressure will arrive without invitation. Criticism will appear without warning. Delays will challenge your patience. People will misunderstand your silence. Circumstances will refuse to align perfectly. You cannot control all of that, but you can control yourself, and that is power. Emotional regulation is not suppression. It is command. It is the ability to feel fully without being ruled blindly. It is the discipline of choosing your response instead of reacting by habit. Before you attempt to master the world, you must master your mind. Picture this clearly. Inside you is an army. Thoughts are soldiers, emotions are messengers, impulses are rapid signals. If there is no commander, chaos spreads quickly. One emotion shouts and the entire system follows. Anger moves first. Fear follows. Doubt spreads. Soon decisions are made in confusion. But you are not chaos. You are the commander. A commander does not eliminate emotion. A commander listens, evaluates, then decides strategically. Stress rises. You breathe. You decide. That sequence changes everything. There will be moments when pressure increases suddenly. A message arrives, a result disappoints, a person challenges you, your heartbeat accelerates. Thoughts rush forward. Your body prepares for reaction. Pause. Not for weakness, but control. Pause. Create space between stimulus and response. That space is where leadership lives. Observe. What are you feeling? Anger? Embarrassment? Fear? Frustration? Name it without judgment. Fear? Frustration? Name it without judgment. Awareness removes intensity. When you observe emotion, you reduce its control. Respond. Choose the reaction that aligns with your standards, not your impulse. This is strength. Your old self reacted instantly. It defended quickly. It justified automatically. It allowed emotion to dictate tone and timing. Your new self delays reaction. Delay is power. When you slow down, you increase clarity. When you increase clarity, you improve outcomes. Cognitive reframing becomes your tool. An obstacle appears. Your old lens sees inconvenience. Your new lens sees training. A delay occurs. Your old lens sees failure. Your new lens sees preparation. A criticism arrives. Your old lens sees attack. Your new lens sees feedback or projection. Reframing does not deny reality. It reinterprets it through strength. Every event can weaken you or sharpen you. The difference is interpretation. You are the commander. Command your interpretation. Stress rises. You breathe. You decide. Short commands anchor you. Pause, observe, respond. Practice this daily, not only in major moments, in small interactions, in conversations, in traffic, in email, in silence. Mastery is built in repetition. There will be times when emotion feels overwhelming, when disappointment feels heavy, when progress feels slow, when comparison creeps in. Again, pause, observe, respond. Do not shame yourself for feeling. Emotion is human, but reaction is a choice. When you choose response over reaction repeatedly, something shifts internally. You become steady. People begin to feel it. You walk into situations calm while others escalate. You speak clearly when tension rises. You maintain posture when pressure increases. That steadiness becomes influence. Leaders are not those who never feel. They are those who decide deliberately, despite feeling. Delay gratification. This is another form of command. Your mind seeks immediate comfort, immediate reward, immediate relief from discomfort. Scrolling offers instant stimulation. Complaining offers instant validation. Quitting offers instant relief, but immediate relief often creates long-term weakness. Delayed gratification builds long-term strength. You resist the impulse to check your phone while working. You resist the urge to respond emotionally. You resist the temptation to abandon a task because it feels difficult. Each resistance strengthens your authority. You prove to yourself that you are not controlled by desire. You are the commander. Imagine standing before your internal army as stress rises. Instead of shouting in panic, you raise your hand. Silence follows. You assess the terrain. You give clear orders. This is mental discipline, and mental discipline creates external advantage. Because the world is unpredictable. People are unpredictable. Circumstances shift. But your response remains chosen. Picture yourself walking into a high-pressure environment, a meeting, a negotiation, a challenge. Others feel tension. You feel it too, but you breathe deeper. You listen carefully. You speak intentionally. You do not rush to fill silence. You do not react to every tone shift. You maintain composure. Stress rises. You breathe. You decide. That calm control separates you. Emotional pacing becomes rhythm. When pressure increases, you slow down internally. When others speed up impulsively, you steady yourself deliberately. This is not passivity. It is strategic patience. There is power in reaction speed control. Fast reactions often signal insecurity. Controlled responses signal insecurity. Controlled responses signal confidence. You choose your timing. Sometimes you respond immediately with clarity. Sometimes you delay intentionally. You understand that not every stimulus deserves instant attention. You protect your energy. When someone attempts to provoke you, you do not accept the invitation automatically. You evaluate, is this worth engagement? Is this aligned with my standards? Will this move me forward? If not, you release it. Release is strength. Holding on to unnecessary emotion drains you. Letting go conserves you. You are becoming emotionally efficient. No wasted outrage, no wasted resentment, no wasted comparison. Your mind becomes organized. The internal army follows structured commands. This takes practice. There will be moments when you fail, when reaction slips through, when impatience wins, when emotion speaks before intention. Do not retreat. Correction is part of command. You acknowledge, you adjust, you improve next time. Each attempt strengthens awareness. Each correction strengthens discipline. Pause, observe, respond, repeat until it becomes instinct. As days pass, you notice change. You feel less triggered, less rushed, less scattered. Your thoughts become clearer. Your words become measured. Your decisions become sharper. Emotional regulation equals power. Not because you suppress, because you choose. The world will always present stimulus, news, opinions, challenges, competition. If you react to everything, you will exhaust yourself. If you respond strategically, you will conserve strength. Delayed gratification applies to goals as well. You do not need instant recognition. You do not need immediate reward. You do not need applause at every stage. You are building long-term dominance. Long-term dominance requires patience. You invest effort without immediate payoff. You refine skills without visible results. You continue discipline even when excitement fades. This is command over desire. Your future self thanks you for it. Imagine yourself months from now, walking into pressure steady. People speak urgently. You remain grounded. Decisions must be made. You evaluate calmly. Obstacles appear. You adjust strategically. You are not shaken. Because you trained your mind before the world tested it. Stress rises. You breathe. You decide. Let that become your identity. The commander does not panic. The commander does not chase every distraction. The commander maintains vision under pressure. You are that commander. Say it internally. I control my response. Say it again. I control my response. Feel the authority in that statement. When you control response, feel the authority in that statement. When you control response, you control direction. When you control direction, you control outcome of the time. Master your mind before the world. Because once the mind is disciplined, the external environment loses its power to destabilize you, and the next level will require even deeper focus. Stay steady. Chapter 6. The 21-day war within this is where it becomes real. The first days felt powerful. Clear decisions, structured mornings, silent discipline, controlled responses. You felt momentum building. You felt focused. Now resistance grows louder, not outside, inside. This is the 21-day war within. Your old self is not gone. It is cornered, and when something is cornered, it fights. You wake up and feel hesitation. You sit down to work and feel restlessness. You protect your focus and suddenly distractions seem more attractive than ever. This is not failure, this is proof. Internal resistance is proof of growth. If you were not stretching, there would be no friction. If you were not changing, there would be no pushback. If you were not evolving, there would be no tension. The tension means transformation is happening. You versus your old self. The conflict intensifies. Your old self whispers, "You have done enough." Your new self responds, "Not yet." Your old self says, "Take a break from discipline." Your new self says, "Stay steady." Your old self suggests, "No one will notice if you slow down." Your new self answers, "The war is quiet. No one else sees it. No one else hears the negotiation happening inside your mind, but you do, and now you must choose again." This phase feels like climbing a mountain in fog. You cannot see the peak clearly. The air feels heavier. Each step requires intention. There is no applause, no dramatic view to energize you, just steps, one after another. The fog represents uncertainty, doubt, fatigue, the feeling that progress is slower than expected. You climb anyway, day by day, choice by choice, brick by brick. Repetition is your weapon. Your old self thrives on emotional fluctuation. It wants you to act only when inspired. It wants you to stop when enthusiasm fades. Your new self understands that consistency matters more than excitement, so you continue. Even when motivation is low, even when energy feels average, even when progress seems invisible. The war within is not dramatic. It is disciplined. You sit at your desk and feel the urge to check something irrelevant. Pause. You feel the temptation to postpone a difficult task. Pause. You feel the desire to complain internally. Pause. This is where growth is decided, not in big speeches, in small, resisted impulses. Internal resistance is proof that the old structure is cracking. Every time you override a distraction, you strengthen the new identity. Every time you complete a task despite resistance, you reinforce discipline. Every time you wake up without negotiation, you prove control. The mountain does not move because you complain. It moves because you climb, day by day, choice by choice, brick by brick. There will be moments in this war where fatigue feels real. Not physical exhaustion alone, mental fatigue, the weight of maintaining standards. You may think, was the old version easier? Yes, it was easier. It was also smaller. Smaller goals, smaller discipline, smaller self-respect. You did not begin this journey to remain small. You began to expand. Expansion requires pressure. Transformation peak. Number 2 begins here. The resistance spikes. Your mind searches for comfort aggressively. Your body seeks ease. Your emotions test your commitment. Do not retreat. Don't stop. Keep going. Push. Execute. Don't stop. Keep going. Push. Execute. Don't stop. Keep going. Push. Execute. Repeat it internally. When resistance rises, your old self hopes for one weak moment. One excuse strong enough to reopen the door you closed. Do not open it. Stay on the mountain. You cannot see the summit clearly yet. That is normal. Fog obscures vision, not direction. Your direction is clear, upward, forward, steady. There will be days where your effort feels invisible, where no external result confirms your growth, where discipline feels repetitive. Trust the process. Brick by brick, build structures that last. Mountains are not conquered in a leap. They are climbed step by step. Your new identity is forming quietly. Even if you cannot see dramatic change, you feel subtle difference. You hesitate less, you recover faster, you complain less, you act more. That is progress. The war within teaches endurance. It teaches you that discomfort does not equal danger. It teaches you that resistance is not a sign to stop. It is a signal that you are pushing boundaries. Stress rises. You breathe. You act anyway. This is different from earlier chapters. Earlier, you were building structure. Now you are defending it. Earlier, you were excited. Now you are defending it. Earlier, you were excited. Now you are tested. Testing strengthens. You may question your ability. You may wonder if you can sustain this pace. You may feel the weight of maintaining high standards. Answer with action. Don't stop. Keep going. Push. Execute. These words are not aggression. They are focus. You do not need to sprint endlessly. You need to maintain controlled forward movement. Consistency defeats resistance. Each completed day weakens the old self. Each disciplined choice strengthens the new one. Day by day, choice by choice, brick by brick, the fog begins to thin slightly. You notice clearer thinking, faster recovery from setbacks, increased tolerance for discomfort. You no longer panic at difficulty. You expect it. Expectation changes reaction. When you expect resistance, you prepare for it. When you prepare for it, it loses power. You begin to understand something profound. The war within is not an obstacle to transformation. It is the path to it. Without internal conflict, there is no growth. Without friction, there is no strength. Without challenge, there is no identity shift. You are becoming someone who does not collapse under pressure. Someone who does not quit when excitement fades. Someone who continues when no one is watching. That is rare. That is powerful. The mountain is still there. The climb continues. But now your steps feel more controlled. Your breathing steadier. Your posture stronger. You have proven something to yourself. You can endure. Say it internally. I rise. Say it again. I rise. Not because it is easy, because you choose to. Rising is not a single event. It is a daily decision. Day by day. Choice by brick. Brick by brick. The war within will not last forever at this intensity. The old self weakens with each disciplined action. Its voice becomes quieter, but you must continue. Do not relax your standards too early. Maintain focus, maintain structure, maintain control. You are closer to the summit than you think. And as the fog continues to lift, you will see something new. Clarity of focus. A sharpened target. The next level will demand ruthless elimination of distraction. Prepare yourself. The climb continues, and you are still rising. Chapter 7. Physical energy, mental clarity. Your mind does not operate in isolation. It lives inside a body. And if the body is neglected, the mind pays the price. You cannot build elite focus on exhausted sleep. You cannot demand clarity from a system fed with chaos. You cannot expect discipline to last if your physical energy collapses. Body discipline strengthens identity. This is not about appearance. This is about power. The body is your instrument, your vessel, your engine. When the engine runs clean, the journey becomes smooth. When the engine struggles, every mile feels heavier than necessary. You are sharpening the blade daily. A blade left untouched becomes dull. It loses edge. It requires more force to cut. But when sharpened consistently, it slices cleanly with less effort. Your body is that blade. Sharpen it. Sleep discipline is the first edge. Sleep is not laziness. It is restoration. It is neurological repair. It is hormonal balance. It is emotional stabilization. When you shorten sleep recklessly, you weaken decision-making. You lower emotional control. You reduce willpower. Then you blame yourself for lack of discipline. Protect your sleep. Choose a consistent time. Reduce late-night noise. Prepare your mind to slow down intentionally. Create an environment where rest becomes strategic, not accidental. You do not scroll until exhaustion forces you to close your eyes. You decide when the day ends. This is command. Train your mind to disconnect at night so it can dominate in the morning. Train, fuel, recover. Movement is your second edge. The body was designed to move. When you sit endlessly, your energy stagnates. When you avoid physical effort, your mental sharpness declines. Movement wakes the brain. It regulates emotion. It increases resilience. You do not need perfection. You need consistency. Walk with purpose. Lift with intention. Stretch with awareness. Push your limits gradually. Train, not to impress, to strengthen. Training is discipline expressed physically. When you complete a hard set, you prove endurance. When you finish a session despite resistance, you reinforce identity. Your body remembers effort, and that memory influences your mind. There is something powerful about finishing a workout before most of the world wakes. Something grounding about sweat earned through intention. Something stabilizing about physical exertion that reminds you of capability. You feel sharper, lighter, focused. Nutrition awareness is the third edge. What you consume influences your clarity. Heavy, chaotic intake creates heavy, chaotic thinking. Clean, balanced intake creates steady energy. This is not about extreme restriction. It is about conscious choice. Eat to fuel performance. Hydrate to support focus. Reduce what drains. Increase what sustains. You begin noticing patterns. After clean meals, your thoughts move smoother. After balanced intake, your mood stabilizes. After hydration, your concentration improves. The connection becomes obvious. Your body is not separate from your ambition. It supports it. Sharpen the blade daily. Sleep, train, fuel, recover. Recovery matters as much as effort. You cannot push endlessly without rebuilding. Stretching, breath work, silence, short pauses throughout the day, these protect longevity. Recovery is not weakness, it is preparation. Your old self ignored these fundamentals. It believed mental strength alone was enough. It sacrificed sleep for distraction. It postponed movement. It consumed without awareness. Your new self understands integration, mind and body aligned. Energy becomes stable. And stable energy creates consistent performance. You begin noticing a shift in posture. You stand taller without forcing it. You breathe deeper. You move with purpose rather than drag yourself through the day. Physical discipline leaks into mental discipline. When you train your body to endure discomfort, your tolerance for challenge increases everywhere else. You sit longer in focused work. You resist impulses longer. You recover from setbacks faster because you trained yourself physically to persist. Emotional lift follows naturally. You feel sharper, lighter, focused, not because life changed, because your system improved. You wake with energy instead of resistance. You approach tasks with readiness instead of reluctance. You speak with steadiness instead of fatigue. Others begin to sense it. Energy is visible, not through noise, through presence. You enter rooms composed. You listen attentively. You respond clearly. Your posture reflects self-respect. People sense your presence before you speak. That presence is built in private effort. Sleep discipline builds it. Movement builds it. Fuel awareness builds it. Sharpen the blade daily. There will be days when motivation for physical discipline fades. When your body feels heavy. When skipping seems harmless. Return to command. Train. Fuel. Recover. These are not optional. They are identity. Each time you train when you do not feel like it, you strengthen mental authority. Each time you choose fuel over indulgence, you reinforce control. Each time you prioritize rest over distraction, you invest in clarity. Your body becomes an ally, not an obstacle. Stress still appears, but your resilience increases. Fatigue still visits, but recovery becomes efficient. Challenges still arise, but your energy remains steady. That steadiness is powerful. When others feel overwhelmed, you remain grounded. When others react impulsively, you respond strategically. When others struggle with inconsistency, you maintain rhythm. Because you sharpened the blade. Sharpening does not happen once, it is daily, day by day, choice by choice, meal by meal, step by step. You build physical credibility, and credibility builds confidence. Confidence changes how you move. You no longer shrink physically. You occupy space naturally. You speak from a grounded position. You maintain eye contact without tension. Your internal discipline shows externally. Imagine months from now, your routine solid, your energy stable, your clarity strong. You walk into environments with quiet certainty. You no longer feel drained by simple tasks. You no longer collapse in the afternoon. You maintain performance throughout the day. People sense the difference, not because you told them, because your energy communicates it. Sharpen the blade daily. There is no shortcut, but there is structure. Train, fuel, recover. You are not chasing temporary intensity. You are building sustainable strength. The world rewards stamina. The world rewards clamor. The world rewards clamor. The world rewards consistency. And those qualities begin in the body. Your identity shifts further here. You are no longer someone who neglects physical foundations. You are someone who respects the instrument that carries your ambition. You rise earlier. You move deliberately, you eat consciously, you rest strategically. These choices compound. The emotional lift becomes normal. You feel sharper, lighter, focused, not occasionally, regularly, and as physical energy stabilizes, your mind becomes ready for the next challenge. Because energy without focus is wasted, and focus without energy is fragile. The next level will demand ruthless attention control. Prepare the blade. It is about to be aimed with precision. Chapter 8. Ruthless focus. Energy without direction scatters. Clarity without focus weakens. You have built discipline, you have strengthened your body, you have stabilized your mind. Now you must aim it, because power that is not directed is wasted. Ruthless focus is the separator. Most people do not fail from lack of ability. They fail from divided attention. They start 5 paths. They commit to none. They respond to every notification. They chase every opportunity. They drown in options. You will not. You eliminate distraction completely, not partially, completely. An archer does not release an arrow while looking at multiple targets. The body aligns, the breath steadies, the eye narrows, everything irrelevant fades. You become the archer. Define your top priority, not 10, not 5, 1. What is the single pursuit that, if executed consistently, changes your trajectory? Name it clearly, write it, hold it. This becomes your target. Everything else is secondary. You no longer allow random tasks to claim equal importance. You no longer treat trivial urgency as meaningful progress. You choose the target, then you align around it. Remove noise. Noise comes disguised as opportunity. It comes dressed as entertainment. It appears as constant updates and endless opinions. Noise feels active, but noise fragments you. Digital boundaries become essential. Your device is a tool, not a master. Turn off non-essential notifications. Silence unnecessary alerts. Schedule defined windows for communication instead of living inside it. Protect your first hours of the day. Protect deep work blocks. Protect evenings meant for recovery. If it distracts, evaluate it. Cut it. Mute it. Ignore it. These are not aggressive actions, they are disciplined ones. Cut it. Mute it. Ignore it. Distraction thrives on accessibility. When something is constantly available, it constantly pulls. Remove accessibility. Place distance between you and temptation. Your old self believed multitasking meant productivity. It jumped between messages, projects, conversations, and ideas. Your new self understands that switching costs focus. Every interruption steals momentum. Momentum is sacred. When you enter focused work, you enter fully. No open tabs unrelated to the target. No background conversations. No quick checks that turn into long delays. Single task. The archer draws the bowstring slowly. Breath steady. Vision locked. Release. This is ruthless focus. It does not feel chaotic. It feels precise. There will be discomfort. When you remove distractions, silence expands. In that silence, you meet your thoughts. You confront the difficulty of deep work. You face boredom without escape. Stay there. Boredom is a gateway to mastery. On the other side of boredom lies flow. When you push past the urge to check something trivial, you access depth. Ideas sharpen. Execution accelerates. Confidence grows. You no longer chase everything. You dominate one thing. This is power. Dominating one thing builds reputation. It builds expertise. It builds confidence that multiplies. Chasing everything builds exhaustion. There will always be new trends, new paths, new opportunities. Not all deserve your energy. Evaluate each potential distraction with one question. Does this move me closer to my defined target? If not, remove it. Cut it. Mute it. Ignore it. Transformation peak. Number 3 begins here. Intensity rises. The world is loud. Opinions are constant. Content is endless. Demands increase. Do not scatter. Mute it. Ignore it. Protect your attention like it is oxygen. Without it, nothing else functions. Your focus becomes aggressive in protection, but calm in execution. When someone tries to pull you into trivial conflict, you evaluate. Is this aligned? If not, you disengage. When endless scrolling tempts you, you remember the target. When multiple projects appear exciting, you return to priority. Don't stop. Stay locked. Stay aimed. Draw the bow. Hold steady. Release only when aligned. Intensity peaks. You are no longer casual about your time. You are deliberate. You are selective. You are strategic. Distraction loses its charm because clarity feels better. There is relief after intensity. Calm control returns. You sit at your desk and know exactly what to do. No confusion, no wandering, just execution. You begin to measure days differently, not by how busy you were, but by whether you advanced the target. If you advanced it, the day was successful. If you allowed distraction to dominate, you adjust immediately. No guilt, correction. Ruthless focus does not eliminate joy, it eliminates waste. You still rest, you still connect, you still experience life, but you do so intentionally, not impulsively. Attention is currency. Where you invest it determines who you become. Invest it wisely. Imagine weeks from now, your chosen target has moved forward significantly. Skill increased, output improved, momentum built. People begin to notice depth, not because you tried everything, because you mastered something. Mastery commands respect. Mastery commands opportunity. Mastery commands confidence. You walk into conversations prepared. You speak with authority in your domain. You no longer feel scattered. You feel anchored, all because you protected your attention. Your old self chased validation through activity. It wanted to appear busy. Your new self values impact over appearance. Impact requires depth. Depth requires focus. Focus requires elimination. Cut it, mute it, ignore it. Let these commands echo internally whenever distraction appears. There will be moments when you feel the urge to return to old patterns, to open multiple windows, to engage in every discussion, to respond instantly to every message. Pause. Remember the archer. A steady hand, a single target. Release only what matters. You are training your brain to sustain attention longer, to resist novelty, to choose priority over impulse. This training changes your identity. You are no longer easily distracted. You are intentional. You are sharp. You are locked in. Say it clearly. I protect my attention. Say it again. I protect my attention. Feel the weight of that statement. Attention is not small. It is life force directed. When directed well, progress accelerates. When scattered, potential dissolves. Ruthless focus is not about intensity all the time. It is about clarity all the time. Clear target, clear boundaries, clear execution. You wake up and know what matters. You work and stay present. You rest without guilt. That rhythm creates sustainable excellence. As you continue this path, something else begins to form: leadership. Because when you master your focus, you naturally begin mastering yourself in every environment. And leadership begins with self-control. Prepare. The next level will demand composure under observation. Stay sharp, stay locked, stay aimed. Chapter 9. Leadership begins with self-control. Leadership is not a title. It is not a position. It is not granted by applause. Leadership begins in private, long before it is recognized in public. You lead yourself first. If you cannot control your impulses, you cannot guide others. If your emotions dictate your decisions, your direction will always shift. If your standards change with your mood, your influence will weaken. Self-control is the foundation. Emotional intelligence is your tool. You do not ignore emotion. You understand it. You read the room without absorbing its chaos. You sense tension without becoming tense. You recognize fear without spreading it. You walk into environments aware. A calm leader in chaos stands differently, not louder, steadier. Imagine a room filled with uncertainty, voices rising, opinions crashing, urgency escalating, people reacting from emotion rather than clarity. In that room, you remain grounded. You listen more than you speak. You observe before you decide. You breathe before you respond. Stand firm, hold steady, choose wisely. These are not dramatic commands. They are disciplined ones. Your old self reacted quickly. It defended instinctively. It matched the energy of the room without thinking. If tension increased, you increased. If negativity appeared, you absorbed it. Now you are intentional. You do not mirror chaos. You anchor it. Emotional intelligence begins with awareness. You notice subtle shifts, a tightened jaw, a rushed tone, a defensive posture, a forced smile. You read patterns, but you do not judge immediately. You gather information. Leadership requires perception before projection. When someone challenges you, you do not respond from pride. You respond from purpose. Pause, observe, respond. This rhythm follows you everywhere. Strategic silence becomes powerful. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every accusation deserves defense. Not every opportunity requires immediate agreement. Silence communicates strength when used intentionally. In meetings, you do not rush to fill every gap. You allow space. You let others reveal more. You speak when your words add clarity, not noise. Silence builds authority. When you speak less but speak precisely, people listen more. Decision strength develops through repetition. Small decisions train large ones. You decide when to wake up. You decide what to prioritize. You decide how to respond under pressure. Each decision reinforces identity. You are no longer reactive. You are intentional. That shift changes everything. When urgency appears, you do not panic. You assess. When disagreement surfaces, you do not escalate. You analyze. When criticism comes, you do not collapse. You evaluate. Stand firm. Hold steady. Choose wisely. A calm leader in chaos does not deny difficulty. They acknowledge it without surrendering to it. Picture yourself entering a room where expectations are high, deadlines tight, emotions layered. You feel the tension, but your breathing remains steady. Your posture remains upright. Your eyes remain clear. People sense it. They adjust around you. Leadership is contagious when calm is present. Emotional regulation from earlier chapters now evolves into influence. You are no longer stabilizing only yourself. You stabilizing environments. When someone reacts impulsively, you do not match intensity. You lower it. When someone panics, you introduce clarity. When confusion spreads, you define direction. You lead yourself first. That discipline radiates outward. Decision strength means accepting responsibility. You do not hide behind indecision. You do not delay endlessly to avoid discomfort. You gather enough information. Then you decide. You understand that perfect certainty is rare, but decisive clarity builds trust. People follow those who move with intention, even if the path requires adjustment later. Your old self feared mistakes. Your new self understands that inaction is often the greater risk. Stand firm. Hold steady. Choose wisely. Repeat this when pressure builds. There will be moments when your authority is tested. Someone questions your direction. Someone challenges your tone. Someone doubts your capacity. Do not react from insecurity. Anchor yourself. You know your preparation. You know your discipline. You know your discipline. You know your standards. Respond from that. Self-control does not mean silence always. It means deliberate action. Sometimes leadership requires firm boundaries, clear expectations, direct correction. You deliver them without anger. Calm voice, clear words, stable posture. The calm leader in chaos commands respect not through volume, but through presence. Presence comes from alignment. You think clearly, you speak intentionally, you act consistently. Imagine weeks from now, you walk into rooms differently. Shoulders back, gaze steady, movements purposeful, words measured. People sense confidence before you introduce yourself. They feel steadiness in your tone. They recognize clarity in your decisions. You are no longer seeking approval. You are setting standards. That is leadership. Emotional intelligence deepens. You learn when to push and when to pause, when to confront and when to allow space, when to challenge and when to support. Leadership is dynamic, but self-control remains constant. There will be moments when frustration builds internally, when others move slower than you prefer, when progress feels blocked. Pause, observe your reaction, choose wisely, respond in alignment with long-term vision, not short-term irritation. That discipline multiplies influence. You are no longer reactive, you are intentional. Say it internally, I lead myself first. Say it again, I lead myself first. Feel the responsibility in that statement. You cannot demand from others what you do not demand from yourself. You cannot expect discipline if you are inconsistent. You cannot expect clarity if you are scattered. So you refine yourself daily. Stand firm, hold steady, choose wisely. Over time, something powerful emerges. Respect, not forced, earned. People begin seeking your perspective, asking for your opinion, watching your response during tension. Because you are stable, stability is rare, and rare qualities attract attention. Your leadership is not loud, it is composed. You are comfortable in silence, comfortable in pressure, comfortable in responsibility. Comfort here does not mean ease, it means readiness. You have trained for this. Your internal war built endurance. Your focus built precision. Your physical discipline built energy. Now self-control builds authority. Authority over self becomes authority in environment. You walk into rooms differently, not because you try to impress, because you are aligned. Aligned with your values, aligned with your standards, aligned with your decisions. Aligned with your decisions. The calm leader in chaos does not chase attention, they attract trust. You are becoming that leader, and the next level will test that leadership under deeper pressure. Prepare yourself, because influence expands when resilience deepens. Stay firm, stay steady, stay intentional. Chapter 10. Becoming mentally unbreakable. There comes a stage in your evolution where pressure increases again, not because you are failing, because you are rising. The higher you climb, the stronger the wind, the greater your focus, the heavier the expectations. The deeper your discipline, the sharper the tests. This is where mental toughness is forged. Pain is training, not punishment, not proof that you should stop. Training. Your old self viewed discomfort as danger. It avoided friction. It retreated at the first sign of emotional strain. It interpreted difficulty as a signal to slow down or quit. Your new self interprets discomfort differently. Discomfort means growth is occurring. When muscles are trained, they burn before they strengthen. When skills are sharpened, mistakes appear before mastery. When identity shifts, resistance surfaces before stability. Pain is training. Reframe it. When rejection appears, you do not collapse. You analyze, you improve, you refine. When failure surfaces, you do not label yourself. You extract lessons, you strengthen strategy, you adjust execution. When pressure builds, you do not panic, you breathe, you ground yourself, you step forward. Mental resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the ability to endure pain without losing direction. There will be days when fatigue feels deeper than usual, when doubt whispers louder, when setbacks stack without immediate victory to balance them. This is the emotional dip. You feel heavy, progress feels slower, confidence flickers, your mind questions whether the climb is worth it. Pause here. This dip is not weakness, it is part of expansion. When you stretch beyond previous limits, the nervous system resists. The mind tries to conserve energy. The body signals retreat. Do not interpret this as incapability. Interpret it as growth under tension. Reframe discomfort. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of thinking, "This is too hard," think, "This is strengthening me." Instead of saying, "I cannot handle this," say, "I am building capacity." Capacity expands through strain. You are not fragile. You are adaptable. Mental unbreakability is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming steady. When others panic, you pause. When others retreat, you recalibrate. When others quit, you continue. Stay, fight, advance, transformation peak. Number 4 begins here. The intensity rises. The challenge feels real. Obstacles appear larger. Energy feels tested. You are tempted to slow down. Do not stay. Stay when the work feels repetitive. Stay when recognition is absent. Stay when progress is invisible. Fight. Fight internal doubt. Fight impulse to quit. Fight the narrative that says comfort is safer. Advance. Take the next step. Complete the next task. Make the next decision aligned with growth. Stay, fight, advance. Repeat it internally when pressure increases. This is not about aggression toward the world. It is about commitment to your evolution. Pain is training. When someone misunderstands you, you train patience. When plans collapse, you train flexibility. When outcomes disappoint, you train resilience. When criticism arrives, you train emotional control. Each discomfort is a rep. Each challenge is a set. Each obstacle is a session. And sessions build strength. The emotional dip deepens at times. You may feel isolated. You may feel misunderstood. You may feel as if your growth separates you from old environments. Do not retreat to old standards for comfort. Growth can feel lonely before it feels empowering. Loneliness is temporary. Strength is permanent. You do not need everyone to understand your path. You need to understand it. Return to your foundation, discipline, focus, silence, self-control. These are your anchors. When turbulence appears, you anchor. Mental unbreakability requires internal dialogue mastery. Monitor how you speak to yourself. Replace harshness with responsibility. Replace self-doubt with strategy. Replace panic with preparation. If you fall short, do not attack your identity. Correct your approach. There is a difference. You are not your temporary performance. You are your commitment to improvement. Stay, fight, advance. The intensity peaks. Your mind wants relief. Your body wants ease. Your emotions want reassurance. Give them direction instead. You are building mental armor. Armor is not built in comfort, it is built in fire. And you are in the fire now. Do not run from it. Stand in it. Let it refine you. There will be moments when quitting feels logical, when compromise appears attractive, when mediocrity looks easier. Remind yourself why you started. You chose to become unrecognizable. Unrecognizable does not emerge from comfort. It emerges from endurance. The rebound begins here. You notice something. You are handling situations that once overwhelmed you. You are recovering faster from setbacks. You are thinking clearer under pressure. You are stronger than before, not because pain disappeared, because you adapted to it. Pain is training. Training creates strength. Strength creates confidence. Confidence creates stability. The dip transforms into lift. You feel resilience rising. You feel clarity returning. You feel intensity sharpen into focus. This is the rebound, stronger than before, more composed than before, more certain than before. You endured, and endurance changed you. Say it clearly, I endure, and endurance changed you. Say it clearly, I endure. Say it again, I endure. Now add to it, I evolve. I endure, I evolve. I endure, I evolve. Feel the truth of that statement. Endurance without evolution is stagnation. Evolution without endurance is illusion. You combine both. You do not avoid pain. You use it. You do not fear difficulty. You welcome its lessons. You do not crumble under pressure. You adapt. Picture your future self months from now, standing steady in a demanding situation, voice calm, mind sharp, body grounded. Others feel overwhelmed. You remain centered. They ask how you handle it. You know the answer. You trained. You reframed pain. You stayed. You fought. You advanced. This is mental unbreakability, not indifference, not coldness, controlled resilience. When the next wave of pressure hits, you will not be surprised. You will recognize it. Training. You will breathe. You will adjust. You will move forward because you are no longer trying to avoid struggle. You are using it to build strength. stay, fight, advance. Let those words become instinct. You are not finished. There is one final integration ahead, and it will define your new identity permanently. Stand steady. You endure. You evolve. Chapter 11. The new identity locks in. There is a quiet moment in transformation when something shifts permanently. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. You notice it in small ways. You wake up without internal negotiation. You begin work without internal negotiation. You begin work without resistance. You respond under pressure without emotional spikes. You are no longer trying, you are becoming. This is where identity locks in. Earlier, discipline required effort, focus required reminders, emotional control required conscious pauses. You were building habits brick by brick. Now those bricks have formed structure. Habits feel automatic. You rise at your chosen time without debate. You train because it is what you do. You protect your attention because distraction feels unnatural. You respond deliberately because reaction feels beneath your standard. This is integration. Forged steel is shaped in intense heat, hammered repeatedly, pressured, tested. The process is violent before it becomes strong. But once cooled, steel holds its form. You were forged in earlier chapters. Now you are cooling into strength. Calm, solid, reliable. The war with your old self weakens. That voice that once argued daily now whispers faintly. The temptation to revert appears occasionally, but it lacks authority. Because proof has accumulated. You have evidence of your endurance. You have proof of your focus. You have memory of your resilience. Confidence feels natural now, not loud, not boastful, stable. You do not need constant validation. You do not need dramatic breakthroughs to feel secure. You trust your process. You trust your structure. You trust yourself. That trust is powerful. You walk differently, not exaggerated, not performative, grounded. Focus becomes default. When distractions appear, you evaluate instinctively. When pressure rises, you breathe automatically. When decisions present themselves, you choose without overthinking. This is identity. You no longer ask, should I be disciplined? You are disciplined. You no longer ask, can I handle this? You handle it. You no longer ask, will I quit? You don't. The conflict between you and your old self resolves quietly. Your old self served its purpose. It survived. It learned. It struggled. But it no longer leads. You lead. You are no longer reacting to life. You are directing it. There will still be challenges, still setbacks, still discomfort, but now you meet them from a different position. Earlier, pressure felt threatening. Now it feels familiar. Earlier, discomfort felt overwhelming. Now it feels manageable. Earlier, uncertainty felt destabilizing. Now it feels navigable. Forged steel does not fear pressure, it withstands it. Your habits are automatic because you practice them daily. Your confidence is natural because you earned it repeatedly. Your focus is default because you eliminated alternatives. This is what consistency creates. Imagine your future self standing before you, stronger, calmer, further ahead. That future self is looking back at you right now, and there is gratitude in their eyes, not because life became easy, because you stayed consistent, because you chose growth when comfort called. Because you endured when quitting was available, because you focused when distraction was loud. That future self exists because of your decisions today. Imagine hearing them say, thank you for waking up when it was difficult. Thank you for staying silent when ego wanted noise. Thank you for pushing through the fog. Thank you for protecting our attention. Thank you for not breaking under pressure. Feel that gratitude. It is real. Identity lock-in feels like calm certainty. You no longer search for who you are. You know. You are disciplined. You are focused. You are resilient. You are intentional. This certainty changes how you move through the world. You speak with clarity. You listen with intention. You decide with conviction. You do not rush. You do not panic. You do not scatter. The foundation is built. The steel has cooled. There is strength in your stillness. You no longer need to prove transformation to anyone. It shows in your consistency. It shows in your posture. It shows in your patience. It shows in your execution. The transformation was not a moment. It was a process. And now the process has shaped you. This is not the end of growth. It is the beginning of stability. When identity locks in, growth accelerates because resistance decreases. You are no longer fighting yourself daily. Energy once spent arguing internally is now directed toward progress. You create faster. You execute cleaner. You recover quicker. You trust deeper. Your internal dialogue shifts from doubt to direction. Instead of questioning every step, you refine it. Instead of hesitating, you adjust. Instead of hesitating, you adjust. Instead of fearing mistakes, you learn from them immediately. Confidence becomes quiet power. Quiet power does not need recognition. It moves steadily. You wake up and know who you are. You move through the day aligned with your standards. You end the day satisfied with your effort, not because everything was perfect, because you were consistent. You are no longer trying to become someone. You are becoming. Becoming is ongoing. Becoming is alive. Becoming is alive. Becoming is powerful. Your old self fades further into memory. You remember how easily you were distracted. You remember how quickly you reacted. You remember how often you negotiated with comfort. That version feels distant now, not hated, outgrown. You have evolved beyond it. The final integration approaches. There is one more layer, one more standard, one final confirmation of who you are now. Stand in this moment, feel the solidity. Say it internally, I am ready. Say it again, I am ready. Say it again, I am ready. Not ready for comfort. Ready for responsibility. Ready for expansion. Ready for leadership. The new identity is locked in, and what comes next will define how far it carries you. Chapter 12. The Unrecognizable Standard. You stand at the edge of completion, not the end of effort, the end of who you used to be. 21 days ago, you made a decision. You stepped through a doorway. You made a decision. You bit through a doorway. You burned comfort. You built discipline. You sharpened focus. You mastered your mind. You endured pressure. You forged resilience. You locked in identity. Now everything integrates. This is the unrecognizable standard. Transformation is permanent when identity shifts. Temporary change relies on motivation. Permanent change relies on self-concept. You no longer behave differently because you are inspired. You behave differently because you are different. That is the shift. Look at yourself honestly. You wake up without argument. You protect your time without guilt. You move with intention without explanation. You endure discomfort without drama. You focus without distraction. This is not an act. It is who you are now. You are steady, disciplined, clear. Earlier, discipline felt like effort. Now it feels like baseline. Earlier, focus required force. Now it feels natural. Earlier, resilience demanded reminders. Now it is instinct. The integration is complete. Everything you practiced is woven into identity. The early mornings, the silent work, the mental reframing, the emotional control, the physical discipline, the relentless focus, the relentless focus, the relentless focus, the internal war, the endurance under pressure. None of it was random. It shaped you. This is the unrecognizable standard. Not louder, stronger. You do not chase comfort. You define it. You do not chase validation. You command respect. You do not chase validation. You command respect. You do not chase motivation. You execute regardless. Transformation peak. Number 5 begins here. Energy rises. Momentum surges. You feel the intensity of everything you have built. Move, led, execute, rise, move, led, execute, rise, move, led, execute, rise. There is no hesitation left, no internal negotiation, no half commitment. You move when action is required. You lead when clarity is needed. You execute when work must be done. You rise when pressure increases. This is not temporary energy. It is installed power. move, lead, execute, rise. Let those commands echo through your mind whenever doubt attempts to return. You are no longer someone who waits. You are someone who acts. You are no longer someone who reacts. You are someone who directs. You are no longer someone who hopes. You are someone who builds. The intensity peaks. Feel it. The pressure that once felt heavy now fuels you. The responsibility that once intimidated you now excites you. The standards that once seemed extreme now feel normal. You do not shrink from challenge. You expand into it. Move, lead, execute, rise. Now the emotional release begins. The intensity softens into deep, calm authority. You breathe differently, slower, to Peter. There is no chaos inside you. There is alignment. You are steady, disciplined, clear. You do not need to prove transformation. You embody it. Your presence communicates it. Your decisions reflect it. Your habits sustain it. The unrecognizable standard is not about perfection. It is about consistency. You will still face setbacks. You will still feel emotion. You will still encounter difficulty, but you will meet it from strength, because your identity has shifted. You are not trying to be disciplined. You are disciplined. You are not trying to be focused. You are focused. You are not trying to be resilient. You are resilient. This is permanence. Earlier, you feared regression. Now you trust yourself. Trust replaces fear. Confidence replaces doubt. Clarity replaces confusion. You are steady, disciplined, clear. Imagine looking back at the version of you from 21 days ago. The hesitation, the negotiation, the scattered energy, the emotional spikes. You honor that version, but you do not return to it. You have outgrown it. The standard has changed. Your tolerance for distraction is lower. Your tolerance for excuses is gone. Your tolerance for mediocrity is minimal. You do not judge others. You elevate yourself. The mission expands now. 21 days was the beginning. Your life is the mission. This was not about a short challenge. It was about identity reconstruction. You now understand how to build yourself, how to correct yourself, how to discipline yourself, how to focus yourself, how to strengthen yourself. That knowledge is permanent. Wherever you go, you carry it. In new environments, in new challenges, in higher levels of responsibility. The standard travels with you. You are steady, disciplined, clear. Picture your future months from now. New goals, new pressure, new opportunities. You approach them calmly. You do not panic at scale. You do not shrink at expectation. You rise, because rising is now automatic. Move, lead, execute, rise. Let those words guide your next chapter. There will be moments where the world tests your new identity. Unexpected difficulty, unexpected difficulty, unexpected delay, unexpected opposition. You do not crumble. You adjust, you adapt, you advance, because transformation is permanent when identity shifts. Your identity is shifted. Feel the quiet authority inside you, not loud, not aggressive, stable. You are no longer chasing who you want to be. You are living as that person. Say it clearly. I decide who I become. Say it again. I decide who I become. Say it again. I decide who I become. Feel the weight of those words. Decision is not an event. It is ongoing. Every morning, every choice, every reaction, every action. You decide. That power belongs to you. No environment can remove it. No criticism can erase it. No setback can undo it, because you built it, brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. The journey does not end here. It expands. You take this standard into everything. Your career, your relationships, your health, your leadership, your vision. 21 days was the beginning. Your life is the mission. Stand in this moment. Breathe deeply. Feel the strength you have constructed. You are steady, disciplined, clear, unrecognizable for who you were, recognizable to who you are becoming. Move forward now. Lead with intention. Execute with precision. Rise under pressure. And never return to lower standards. Say it one final time. I decide who I become. Now step forward. Your future responds to the standard you set today. Final conclusion. You are not the same person who started. 3 weeks ago, hesitation lived in you. Excuses sounded reasonable. Comfort felt safe. Now something is different. You pause before reacting. You act before doubting. You execute before explaining. You did not become unrecognizable by chance. You decided. You disciplined your mornings. You guarded your focus. You mastered your emotions. You moved in silence. You endured resistance. And now you stand stronger. Not louder, not reckless. Stronger. This is not temporary motivation. This is installation. Your standards shifted. Your habits aligned. Your identity recalibrated. There will still be pressure. You remain steady. There will still be distraction. You remain focused. There will still be distraction. You remain focused. There will still be uncertainty. You remain clear, because this is no longer effort. It is identity. Pause. Feel that strength. It is quiet. It is stable. It is yours. You built it day by day, choice by choice, brick by brick. Say it clearly. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. 21 days changed your trajectory, but your story continues. This was not a finish line. It was a foundation. Now move forward, calm, disciplined, unstoppable. Raise your standard again, protect your focus again, choose growth again, and let the world meet the version of you that refused to stay the same.